Is it in the haunted house, or was that?
That was the second house. So
Okay,
Crystallized
gotcha.
we wrote in the beach house in our like little studio setup. It was just one of those that Eric had kind of come up with the riff, and he had written like a drum machine thing for it, and I kind of like just disregarded it a little bit and did something completely different, but sort of with like the idea of what he had been trying to accomplish in mind, and we just jammed it out, and then got everyone else involved, and it was it kind of like we finished recording the demo version. We listened to it, we were like, oh man, we gotta like show this to people. Like we were so excited about it. And I think it turned out, it was one of the songs on the record that had like the least work done, in the studio and in pre-production and stuff. So what you hear on the record is pretty much, exactly how we wrote it in its first form.
So on that topic, let's go the other way. What changed the most?
Well, there's a song on the record called Camera, and it's actually one of the first songs we wrote for the album. And it was just one of those that like, it was so hard to like progress past. We hit this rock or hit this wall, and we're just kind of like don't know what to do with it. It doesn't feel right, but we really love the song, and the arrangement just wasn't vibing. So we put it to the side for a while, and when we brought it back, I think we had like fresh ears, and we'd started working with J, who was the producer on the album, and he said a couple things and just sort of changed our perception of the song, and it ended up being, I think, a lot darker than we had initially imagined it would be, but I think it turned out well.
Do songs change now that you've been playing them live for a few months?
Not really, actually. It's still like in the honeymoon stage with these songs. So like we're really excited to play them as they appear on the album, and a lot of these songs we'd never played until we started this tour that we're currently on. So there's still a lot of excitement. I think eventually, there are some songs on the last album
Sure, let's do that then,
I've
yeah.
kind of seen a little bit of progression, but for the most part,
Like what from the last record has changed?
It's mostly just like individual parts. Like maybe I'll play something a little bit differently, or Eric will have
just for fun for yourself.
Yeah, just for fun to
Okay.
keep it like fresh. But we don't mess around with arrangements too much. Maybe we'll extend like a jam at the end of something every once in a while. But I know when I go see a concert, like I'm really excited to see the song as I know it, and I don't want to be too. Self-indulgent with that stuff, because sometimes people just don't want to see like a 20-minute jam at the end of the song. So we're trying to keep that in mind.
Right. But okay, on the topic of what people want to see, you have these massive hit songs. Where do they sit in the set? Do you open with it? Do you close with it? Do you throw in the middle? And
I mean, I think when you have a song like that, or like My Body, for instance, it kind of begs to be played last. Because there's no way. Even if you feel really great about a song, like there's no way you're going to be able to match the energy that the audience is putting out for that song that they know and they love and they have all these, memories for or whatever. And the same thing with Cough Syrup. I think we try to position those songs in places in the set that will have most impact. We're not like, all right, let's just get Cough Syrup out of the way and just song number 2, bang it out, and then just go on to other things. Trying to come up with a good pace for the set is a really important part of putting together a show.
how long did it take to figure out the pace? I mean, we're a few shows into the tour now.
Yeah, we're about halfway through now.
Okay.
So I think this is like 23 or 24.
So not a few. I was way off. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's still a few, relatively speaking, for
the
the
next
life
2
of the
years.
album. Yeah. So I think now we've kind of figured it out, and a lot of it is trial and error. Like you have an idea of how things are going to go over, but it's not until you get in a room, and even from city to city, people react differently to different songs. But I think at this point we've kind of figured out like a basic template, and we can sort of mess around with it.
I'm curious now about this the city to city thing. Do any songs fall flat in a certain city?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, My Body and Cough Syrup, just because they were played to death
Everyone
and
knows
stuff,
them, yeah.
usually like those are pretty consistently good. But there's some songs. Like Paralysis, for example, which is the last song on the new album, we played in San Francisco, and it was like everyone was going crazy. It's a new song, like one of the first times we ever played it, so that was really nice to see it. And so we were really excited to play it the next day in LA, and it was kind of just like, like, oh, okay, that's kind of disappointing. Yeah, I mean, that's always going to change, and different cities have different ways of showing love, I guess.
What are you digging 23 shows in? What are your favorites to play right now?
I actually really enjoy playing Mind Over Matter. It's one of my favorites for sure. And then there's another song on the new album called Waves, where I get to do a lot of singing and playing at the same time, which I enjoy.
Cool. It's singing?
Yeah.
So where was it? Daydream. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound like him at the beginning of that tune.
The
Like the
the
vocal.
really low stuff.
Yeah, it's
so-
him. It's Samir singing though.
That is Samir.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I know he wanted to kind of extend his range, and he's so talented. And he's so versatile. I think he wanted to really show that off, and so he went more into like the falsetto stuff, and then he also messed around more with kind of the lower. Jim Morrison kind of copying him a little bit, but it's funny that you mentioned that because there have been a lot of people who are like, that doesn't sound like.
No, it doesn't.
And I think that's great. That's
it's amazing.
of the real talent. So, but I sing harmonies on all that stuff, and that's been something for me to learn is how to like play drums and sing at the same time because it's like the whole like, this kind of thing. So.
Well, that's drumming right there.
That's so add I don't know something else like doing counterclockwise with your pattern. So.
I mentioned the haunted house at the beginning, and I realized people are going to be like, what the hell is he talking about?
Right,
do you want to explain what the haunted house
sure,
thing was?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've done this thing where we try to live together to, save money and then also be in a place where you don't have to drive out 20 minutes to get to the studio. And by the time you get there, the inspiration is gone. And so it was really nice over the past couple of years having the option to just go downstairs and play and pick up our instruments. So the first house we lived in for this album was in like the hills up in East Hollywood, or East LA rather, and it was just this weird like retro 80s porn mansion like on the side of a hill. We got hooked like an amazing deal on this place, and just like it started as little things like you just would see you see like things in the corner of your eye going like, and like it was just my mind playing tricks on me, but then you would hear like footsteps when there's no one there and like creaking and stuff. So. And then it kind of culminated. We had this party, and we were up really late, and we had a lot of people over. And the next morning, we were cleaning up, and everyone left the house, and I was in there by myself. And this like 30-pound, big glass fruit bowl, like real heavy, piece, just I hear something like shatter downstairs, and had been thrown clear from the table, like across the room, and just like burst into pieces all over the place. I was like, all right. There might be something to this. I don't think it really influenced the album so much, but we were pretty.
That was my next question. Is there a song about that or anything?
I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask me that. I don't think so. It's more just like, well, it's freaky. We should leave this house.
Go to another one. Yeah. When you have the success of last time, and knowing you're going to be playing bigger rooms on this tour than from the time you wrote the last record, does it change the writing of a record?
It's interesting because we did this like month-long underplay tour where we were playing to like 100 or 200 people, and like being so close to them, you're reminded that big rooms are essentially collections of these smaller groups of people, So it's like when you see the reactions, and it kind of, I don't know, it helps you to make that connection with like the individual and stuff. And I think that's what we try to write for, is like how someone's going to perceive the show as an individual. And if there are 10,000 individuals, that's great. If they're 500, that's also great.
Cool. We do something called 5 questions. 5 quick questions, 1 word answers.
Oh crap. Okay.
Everyone gets the same ones.
Okay.
Road or studio?
Oh, studio.
Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
Rhythm.
Well, as a drummer, yeah.
Yeah.
If someone's never heard Young the Giant before, what song do they start with?
Mind Over Matter.
And in 1 word, Young the Giant.
Dope.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
man.
thanks, man.
Hey, really nice to meet you.
Yeah,
man.
you as well. I couldn't believe